Hey guys, this is Nate from RunDreamAchieve.com. Hope you guys are having a great week of training so far. If you're brand new to the channel, hit that bell icon, hit the subscribe button so when I make a new video, you'll be notified of it. Today's video, I wanted to talk on a topic that I recently made a video about plateaus and how to overcome them as athletes. But this particular video I wanted to make on how do you know when you've hit a performance plateau? Okay, so as I've always said in a lot of my videos over, since I started making these videos about a little over a year ago now, the more fit you get, the higher you go in your performances, the more difficult it gets. And me personally, I can only speak on my own experience. So I hope at least knowing that somebody that's, I've run a 2:19 marathon. Obviously, there's plenty of athletes out there that have run much, much faster than I've run. But I kind of knew, I didn't realize at the time how difficult it was going to be for me to duplicate that type of effort. I ran 2:19:35 for the marathon at the 2007 California International Marathon. I finished 4th place and as the top American in that race that year, and qualified for earned an Olympic trials qualifying standard, unfortunately. But also, fortunately, I earned the USA Track and Field Olympic Trials A standard time for the marathon 28 days after the Olympic trials were held. So the Olympic trials, the 2008 USA Olympic trials for the marathon were held in November of 2007, and I broke the 2:19 or the 2:20 barrier 28 days later in December of 2007. So in a way, it was like me qualifying for the Olympic trials, but I didn't get to qualify, or I didn't get to compete in the Olympic trials. But I literally trained from 2007 all the way to 2017, so a full decade trying to run a better time. So for me personally, I hit that running plateau when I ran 2:19:35. I mean, it was a perfect race. I'd done everything right in training. The closest I ran to that time was in 2011 at the 2011 Monumental Indianapolis Marathon in Indianapolis, Indiana. And I finished 5th place in a time of 2 hours, 26 minutes, and 42 seconds. So I know how difficult it can be for all of us when you get very fit. One of my subscribers asked me a question, and great question, Monty. He said, thanks, timely video for me. How do you know if you have hit a plateau or you've maxed out or hit a personal best? I've been stuck at the same spot for a couple of years now and looking to make changes to improve. Great question, Monty. Like I said, the key thing is you got to stick to your guns. You got to really, stay true to what you're wanting to do, and know that, yes, you may hit a plateau. It may take you a few months or many years to get faster, especially if it's a time that you've run that is such a competitive time and where everything went perfect. It's not as easy as a lot of athletes think to continue to duplicate these great efforts. I was the same way. I thought, the 2012 Olympic trial standard was 2 hours 19 minutes flat, and I think even today in 2020 the Olympic trials B standard time, I think now, is still 2:19 flat. So I was always thinking, what's another 35 seconds? I ran 2:19:35. It shouldn't be that difficult to drop another 35 seconds. But you got to realize too, I made a massive jump. I went from a 2:40:02 marathon dropping down to 2:19:35, and then I went back up to 2:26. But it was still great efforts, but a lot of ebbs and flows. So I think regardless where you're at in your training, you may be earlier on in your training right now. So know that, Monty, in your particular question, I think you really just need to continue to focus on what have you been doing in the past few years that really hasn't gotten you those big jumps that you're looking for. I have a little over 28 years of experience in this sport, and I've created plans and running courses on RunDreamAchieve.com for athletes that are in your particular predicament where you're kind of stuck and you're trying to figure out, okay, well, I've been doing everything right, but for some reason, it's just not clicking. It's not, I have all the motivation in the world, But if you've also been stuck in a running performance too, it could be other things besides just your physical training. How much time are you spending, mentally training and preparing for your races? Are you focusing on your nutrition? On all my videos, I have nutritiongeeks.com. I continue to share that, and I'm not going to stop sharing it because nutrition is a huge part of our preparation as athletes. So it could be something, maybe you're running low on iron and you're anemic and you don't know it. Because I had to deal with the same thing. 2007, I was running poor. My races weren't going that great. My workouts were decent, but I just was not putting it together in the races. And my coach at the time, who was the 1985 Boston Marathon champion, she told me, and her name's Lisa Rainsberg, and she's like, hey, you need to go in and get a blood test. See if you're running low on something, because this isn't right. You have all the motivation in the world. You're putting in the work, and find out if you're running low on a mineral or something. Maybe you're running low on ferritin, which is a component of iron. And iron plays a huge role in oxygen transport throughout the body. So make sure you're checking those things too. It's a little bit more technical, but a quick remedy for that. And I'm not a physician. Always consult your physician before you ever start any of this. But I would recommend based on what I've done in the past too. After I found out that I was anemic, I would take a 65 milligram tablet of iron about 2 to 3 times a week with some orange juice, because vitamin C helps iron absorb faster in the bloodstream and into your body. So I would recommend that as well, just to make sure that you're not running low on something. But in terms of knowing when, how do you know you've hit a plateau or hit your max or personal best? I think it, for me personally, I just knew, I knew it was going to be very, very difficult to be able to duplicate what I did on that particular day. Even in that race, I was, my personal best to this day for the half marathon is 1:07:06. I ran that at the Philadelphia Rock and Roll Marathon in 2007. Finished like 28th place. It's always competitive there. I think 1:01, 1:02 won the race that year. And when I ran 2:19:35, my first half of the marathon was 1:07:09. And granted, the California International Marathon's a net downhill course, similar to like Boston. But anybody that's run sim is going to will tell you bluntly that there is a lot of ups and downs on that course. There is a real sharp downhill at the 10-mile point, and then it just goes back to rolling hills. There's a lot of ups and downs. I would have never envisioned running 2:19 on that course. I thought I was going to run a sub 2:20 on Chicago, Rotterdam, one of those types of courses, London. I never would have thought, even Columbus. I ran Columbus and I bombed in Columbus, I think back in like 2005 or so. I ran like 2:55, which for me wasn't that great. But I was learning. We don't just get to great performances overnight. So know that what you're doing, Monty, is definitely difficult. I already know you're well aware of that. But I think you just need to continue to focus on especially if you haven't done your best, if you know 100% that you have not put in, you haven't fully immersed yourself, fully committed to what you're doing. A lot of us think we're doing as much as we can, but we really aren't. And I didn't break 220 until I got just all in, 100% focused. I was tenacious. I was crazy what I was doing in training. And I wanted to get to the point where I could live out what I was truly wanting to do. And for me personally, it was to break a 2:22 marathon, earn an Olympic Trials B standard time. I broke 2:20, earned an Olympic Trials A standard time back in 2007, and I kind of achieved what I wanted to do. But I get much, much more satisfaction out of helping you guys get past your barriers, because I know what you're experiencing. And I know that, like I said, there were, and there's still to this day, millions of runners much, much faster than I ever ran. But I think it's very important to give back and to let athletes, regardless if you're brand new to the sport or if you're an advanced athlete or you're faster than I ran, to know that, hey, we all experience these running plateaus, and what do you need to do? I really think you have to continue to focus on your long-term approach. Write down your goals, visualize yourself doing what you want to do, spend about 20 minutes per day, and stay consistent on this. I'm telling you, the power of the subconscious mind cannot be neglected. It is very powerful, far more powerful than our physical training. The Billy Mills, the last American male to win the 10,000 meter gold medal, said it perfectly. He said the subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between reality or imagination. You have to tell yourself, you have to believe in those crazy goals. If you're sick and tired of living paycheck to paycheck, you have to start implementing different strategies to get past that and to get past living paycheck to paycheck. If you're stuck in a particular performance level, you do have to start making a plan. If it means investing a few dollars in yourself and changing up how you're training, then do so. I've done it as well. These videos I make, this is free content. But at the same time, I have made those courses and those training programs that did take me a great deal of time to create, and it's still a focus to help athletes to change up what they're doing. I really think it is important to really ask yourself and to be blunt with yourself. Hey, am I really doing all I have? Am I giving my all? Because if you haven't, then you have room to improve. And if like I said, the faster you run, and maybe that's not even your case, Monty, you're all in, you're 100%, and you just haven't, you haven't seen those big leaps. There are factors that come into play that we have to accept. I mean, I think that, as we age, it is more difficult as you get older and older to run faster. Like, I'm 44 now, and there are men and some women out there that can really just fly, even in their late 40s. 2:19:35 was kind of my max, and I can accept that. But I also spent a decade, again, from 2007 all the way to 2017, pushing the barrier as hard as I could to get faster. But there is a point where a performance plateau does come about, just based on the fact that you've done every possible thing you possibly can do. So if you have done that and you have not, and you're experiencing that plateau and wondering what else do I need to do, start thinking about either changing up your training programs. Check out RunDreamAchieve.com. Check out the running programs. Check out the running courses. If any of you guys have any questions regarding that, feel free to leave me a comment below this video. If you have any questions or something that I miss in these videos, leave me a question. I mean, I do the best I can to answer, either by making videos or just by writing back to you guys, because it is important that I create content that's going to help you guys get to the next level. Monty, you already know, man. You're already competitive. Otherwise, you wouldn't be asking this question. But it's tough. It is tough, especially when you've performed at the highest level that you're capable of, and then trying to go out and duplicate it or better that performance. You have to have that drive, and you continue to see yourself doing what you want to do, and getting up every single day and consistently going after bettering that particular performance. So I think that tenacity and that ferocity, that focus, that that eye of the tiger type attitude that you have to succeed, regardless if it's sport or business or anything else. You have to have that. So I hope this video has been helpful for you, Monty. I think that if you continue to stay consistent in what you're doing, and start looking at the things that have not been working. What have you been doing? Have you been running too much mileage too slow? Have you really been focusing in on your race pace and training at paces lower than your race pace? Have you run your tempo runs, those lactate threshold runs, where if you're wearing a heart rate monitor, like I always say, around 164 to 172 beats per minute, about 88 to 92% of your maximum heart rate? How long have you been spending in duration doing those lactate threshold runs? Have you been doing them, have your tempo runs been too short? Maybe you need to lengthen them out a little bit, okay? How much time are you spending during those 8-week to 16-week blocks of training on the track, training at paces that are closer to your 3K to 5K race pace, if you're trying to train for, say, a longer race? If you're trying to run a shorter event, maybe like the 3K to 5K, are you really working on that leg speed, that hardcore leg speed, like the repeat 150s, repeat 200s, repeat 300s, quarters, repeat 800s, where you're really working on your leg turnover? So a lot of it has to just do really with continuing to work on your weaknesses. Again, and I can only say from my own experience that once you've performed at the highest level that you possibly can, and you know it's a competitive time, and you've done everything possible that you can, then you can accept looking back and say, hey, I've hit a running plateau, a performance plateau. I'm gonna keep doing the best I can, but at the same time, if I fail at trying to improve the time that I've run or the performance that I've put up, then I can live with myself because I gave it every single thing I had. So I hope this video, Monty, has been helpful for you and everybody else that's watching this. Again, I really appreciate you guys. If you have any questions, or like I said, there's a ton of resources on RunDreamAchieve.com. If you're hungry for starting, interested in improving your nutrition and really focusing on that in late 2020 leading into 2021, or you want to start your own wellness business revolved around nutrition and health, definitely check out nutritiongeeks.com. I hope you guys have a great evening, great morning, great afternoon, wherever you guys are in the world. A lot of my subscribers are from all parts of the world, not just here in America. So I really appreciate what you guys are doing. Monty, again, stay focused, man. Nothing can take the place of being tenacious and driven in what you're doing. And I think you're on the right path. You're asking the right questions. And yeah, man, hope this has been helpful for you. And if anything I missed out, any specific question or something that I didn't cover in detail enough for you, feel free to leave me another comment, man. I'll make another video and hopefully go a little bit more in detail. So, and that goes for all you guys. If you've been really dealing with something, either in your training, either physically or mentally, maybe something just has not been panning out for you in your performances or in your workouts, feel free to leave me a comment, and I'll do the best I can to either make a video or to respond back to you guys. So I wish you guys all the best and have a great week of training. Stay focused, and I'll talk to you in the next video.